Welcome to the Heart of Giving. As you know, this program highlights and exposes to you the wonderful things that the nonprofits do in the city of Long Beach. We are so proud to be here to present these to you so that you know that there are thousands and thousands and thousands of people in the community that have projects that help our community. And today is no exception. Today we have Julie Meenan, who is the executive director of the Josephine Gumbiner Foundation. And Josephine Gumbiner is someone who believed in the city of Long Beach and really made sure that Long Beach was going to be better because of her, and it is. And Julie, we're so happy to have you with us.
Oh, thank you for including me, Meryl.
Absolutely, and you've been in charge of it from the very beginning, haven't you?
I missed one board meeting in 1989, yes.
Oh,
but since then I've been to every board meeting.
1989. Now, Josephine Gumbiner was alive then, wasn't she?
Yes, she passed away about 19 years ago.
And but you had worked with her before that.
Yes, I worked out of her home, downstairs in her house on the peninsula. I think you came to visit her a few times there.
Yes.
Yeah, so she started the foundation in the end of 1989, and I was the first and only employee for the board of directors and Josephine.
And then after she passed away, you became the executive of this foundation.
Yes, and her daughter became the board president, because prior to that, Josephine had been president of the board and had primarily her neighbors and other fellow social workers on the board of directors.
Mm-hmm. And tell us about her, before we talk about what you do. Tell us about her. She was in social work?
Yes, she had a master's in social work, and she married Dr. Robert Gumbiner, and together they moved to Long Beach, right when he was starting his residency, and they lived a very modest life. And through her work with the Department of Adoptions and Family Services of LA, she saw the needs of women and children, and once she was able to create the foundation, she set it up to enrich the lives of women and children in Long Beach in particular.
And her husband, she and her husband, have been the biggest donors almost that the city has had, because MOLA was started by him.
Yes, it was. After they divorced, Dr. Gumbiner started the Museum of Latin American Art, and it is a force to be reckoned with in the museum world.
I think it's the only contemporary museum of modern art, Mexican music, MOLA.
Museum of Latin American
That's
Art.
right, Latin America. I couldn't get that out right. I couldn't get MOLA out from that. But I'm so pleased that you're here, because it's good to know about them as well as what they've left for the city of Long Beach.
Their legacy is everlasting.
So they lived in Long Beach and became part of Long Beach, and then they have left their wills to the city. That's marvelous. Now tell us about Josephine.
Well, Josephine was, like I said, she was a social worker. She was a mother of four. She worked part-time, clear up until an early retirement. And they came into wealth later in their life. So they lived a very middle-income, existence, and kids went to public schools, and kids went off to college. And she decided to set up the foundation. She traveled extensively with her friend Jean Selden, who was one of the founding board members. And then she decided to focus on her charitable gifts and established the foundation and hired
And what were the goals of the foundation?
To enrich the lives of women and children in Long Beach, primarily basic needs, child care, daycare, shelters, domestic violence shelters. She was on the board of the women's shelter at the time. And just really, we were focusing on our giving in that area. And initially, the foundation was endowed at $3 million, and then it was growing slowly, but upon her death, a substantial portion of her assets went into the foundation, and today we're at $14 million.
Is that right? So it's an endowed foundation, and you have a board of directors that you work with. And what's the process that people follow to find out, to apply, and some ideas of the type of grants you give?
So initially, it really was necessary for me to go out into the public and go to events and go to receptions, often ones that I would see you at.
Yes, I know.
For the word to get out, we did a needs assessment to try to focus our giving a little more narrowly so that we could have a bigger impact. And my presence in the community, that was before the internet, would be to pass out our brochure and encourage people to apply. And being a new foundation, people just really
And what do you
didn't know
ask for in your application? That's what I kind of...
So now with the creation of the internet, it's a lot easier. Anybody interested in finding out if they might be a match for our funding would go to our website at jsgf.org.
I'll have you say that again later.
Yeah, so they go to the website and it's very clear how to apply for funding. The first piece of process is to request the letter of intent via email. It's a very simple one-page fill-in-the-blank form that basically just states what programs you provide and what program you would like us to consider to fund. That group of those go quarterly.
What's it like? What's an example of that?
I would pick Young Horizons, and they would come to us for their HUD match, or the U.S. Vets program.
This is not with individuals. This is
it has to be a 501c3 organization.
I see. So you endow other charitable organizations.
We make grants to them.
Yeah, you make grants to them.
Yeah. And so since we've started in 1989, we've funded over $12 million in grants to about 600 nonprofits in town that work with women and children, primarily from Long Beach.
That. So you endow other charities in the community that deal with women.
We don't endow them. That would be
sorry,
establishing.
That's the wrong word. Beverly.
It's a grant. We make grants to them that are, they do not need to be repaid, and we would consider funding them 3 straight years in a row. Our average grant's about $15,000 to organizations. Annually, we contribute about $600,000 to Long Beach nonprofits. So we're still endowed at $14 million. We just are, investing the interest in the nonprofits that work so hard in our community.
So you are actually an endower for the other groups that are organized to help the people that fit your criteria.
Yes, we received the letter of intent.
I'm finally saying it right.
Yes. It's hard to get an endowment going for a nonprofit.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
There's been very few that have been successful.
I know.
In the last few years, it's an ideal situation for a nonprofit to be able to have an endowment to expect that income.
Absolutely.
Especially for an executive director's salary, which I've always said is the hardest money to raise, because it's hard for an executive director who runs an organization to say, yes, all of our programs are important, but you need to fund my salary. They're not able to do
They
that.
don't like
it's
that.
just not within their nature. So, they can sell anything but their own salary, so that's the hardest money to come by. United Way used to be a great supporter of ED's salary in the community and, kept that piece of the program budget stable. So we do fund general operating support, but our dollars are, much less. So nonprofits have to work very hard with individual donations. For a nonprofit, it's usually about 72% of individual giving comes from, of a program budget comes from individuals. Only 15% comes from foundations, either family or corporate. So they have to work very hard. So we try to keep our process pretty simple with the letter of intent. It's reviewed by executive committee. We get about 80, 90 letters of intent annually. We'll select out about 60 of those for the organizations to come back and submit full grant applications to us.
And what's an average grant?
An average grant for a program?
Or for the nonprofit that...
It would be our last board meeting on June 3rd. We made a $25,000 grant to Jewish Family and Children's Services for their group and individual counseling program. We made an investment in Long Beach Community Action Partnership, where we sit today, for their LAMP program, their leadership program, and that was a $15,000 grant. And for smaller grassroots organizations, we will fund $5,000, because in some cases that can make a huge difference.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. $1,000, because some of them are just on shoestrings.
Shoestrings, exactly. We're all volunteer organizations and that type of thing. Yeah, we'll do those grants. And we have a super simple process, so we can get money out the door a lot quicker than organizations that are more bureaucratic.
And you do your grants once a year?
We do 4 times a year.
4 times a year.
4 board meetings, and so the proposals will come in quarterly. We ask for another fill-in-the-blank form that has more financial information on it, a 2-page narrative about the program, about the organization, about their mission, and a 1-page budget about what they're specifically coming to us for. So let's use Long Beach Community Action Partnership as an example, because this is a very large organization that has a multi-million-dollar budget, but the LAMP program is a very small piece of that, and so our $15,000 to that program is significant.
For that.
But when you look at the full budget, you think, well, $15,000 is a drop in the bucket, but most of the money here is for their utility program and their weatherization. So it's important that my board understand, and we all understand that although an organization might have a huge budget, what they do on the ground is significant and much smaller.
They have to have the background money to do it.
Yes, yes. So then we ask for tax returns and financials from the past, resumes of key staff, their 501c3 nonprofit status letters from the IRS, and then my board goes out and visits each organization. I request a board member goes out to at least one organization. Some of our board members that are retired, they'll go to 2 or 3 organizations. And then when we hold our board meeting, the board member that was present on that site visit,
they have to make a report,
makes the presentation. And it really comes from the heart, and they kind of become the advocate for that organization because they've been there.
And they see wonderful work. Yes.
And they share and they answer questions about what was missing. I mean, some site visits are just, they're fabulous. Some are complete catastrophes, and so it's really important that the board meet together. And all boards for foundations are, very invested. They just get involved at a different level. But most of my board members are from Long Beach. They really care. And, as you know, Long Beach, the heart of Long Beach is really the nonprofit sector and the board members.
I call it the soul.
It is.
Because it's the number of people that are involved in giving of their time and effort and money. Is phenomenal in the city of Long Beach. I love it.
It's when you look at we also required the list of the board of directors, and I look on there and I think, oh my heavens, that person's on that board too. And they're a really involved board member. It's not just their name alone. It's their time and their commitment and their personal and financial resources are going to something they really care about. And that means a lot to my board too, because they know those board members and they say, oh, whether it be the public library or Young Horizons or something smaller, Lydia House or Long Beach Day Nursery.
Well, you've told me so many things that I didn't know, Julie. I don't know, and I've been involved with you for years. But I thank you very much. The time has gone by.
It really has.
I know it goes really fast, but you've said so much, and I appreciate it. And I just am so proud of you.
No, thank you so much. You've been a good supporter and a fabulous friend.
Thanks, Julie. Thanks so much.
Neil.
And thank you very much. We'll be right back. Welcome back. The next segment we have is really wonderful, and it's something so interesting, and it's new. It's something that we haven't talked about. All of a sudden, we realize that we need to talk about it. And so I'm so glad to have this group called Gems Uncovered. And it doesn't really say, you wonder what it is, but it actually has a message with it that you'll find. And today we have Mary White, who is the founder and program director of Gems Uncovered, and Jennifer, who is a board member and a designer, jewelry designer, okay, and Mariah, what's your last name? Marple. Okay. Well, it had 2 words, and all of a sudden I couldn't remember either one of them, who is a survivor. And I'm so pleased that the 3 of you are here with me today. So now, tell me, what is Gems Uncovered?
Gems Uncovered is a nonprofit organization, faith-based, helping survivors get out of the life. Also, we are on
life of what?
The life of prostitution.
Okay.
And we also are part of what we do is preventative measures, meaning that we bring awareness to what human trafficking is. It's a $150 billion industry.
Oh my.
And even though it's as huge as it is, a lot of people don't know what human trafficking is.
I know. And did you, in starting this program, what prompted you to start this to begin with?
I attended a conference 5 years ago, and I learned about human trafficking at this women's conference. And as I learned about it, I thought, wow, I'm this old And I have no clue that this was even going on in my own backyard. And then the speaker said words to me that comes from the Bible, and it says, speak up for those that don't have a voice.
Yes.
Speak up for those that are being crushed.
Yeah.
And I heard the Lord whisper to me and say, now that you know about it, what are you going to do about it?
Oh my, yeah.
So then I started doing something, learning more about it, became a member of a task force. We started with a street team, just going out, praying with the girls on the street, to where we are today with a drop-in center and having great partnerships with the law enforcement, Long Beach Law Enforcement, Long Beach Prosecutor's Office.
I knew that
Yeah.
the Long Beach was very helpful with
Yes.
working with you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So do you have a board that helps you, or you're not doing this all by yourself?
No, we have a great team of volunteers. The volunteers, this organization is run, no one has a paid position.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we work primarily off of private donations and grant funding.
Mm-hmm.
And we were recently awarded a grant from Don Kanabe's office, who was just amazing, amazing.
I remember that. Well, it's something that hasn't been talked about as much at all when you talk about women on, or young girls on the street. And we said a few words to begin with when we were talking earlier, that they're not prostitutes, they're victims.
They're victims, they're slaves, yes, yes. You know, 80 to 85% of the victims of human trafficking come from foster care system, runaways.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the ages differences, the ages that you have can be frightening.
Yes, it can start as early as 12, even earlier in that, 12 years old, they begin.
Mm-hmm. And they feel they have no other place to go.
Yes, you know what, they're in this environment, they're captive to their trafficker, and it's hard for them to get out. And we deal primarily with the older population. There's a lot more services for the minors, but with the 18 and over population, there are not as many services, and so we provide services to them as well.
And we'll get, hopefully, to what these services are. But let's talk to Jennifer. Jennifer, how do you fit in this group?
So about a year and a half ago, I, very similar to Mary, was at a conference, a women's conference, and heard a speaker talk about human trafficking, which prior to that I had no knowledge of. And after the conference, I bought her book. I read it within a couple days, just stories of her work rescuing girls and working with survivors. And like Mary, as soon as I read it, I thought, oh my gosh, I am not going to live the rest of my life knowing that I knew about this and did nothing. So I, started thinking and praying, how do I fit into this? What can I do? I knew Mary. We were friends. I knew the organization and the work that they were doing. And I really felt like it was placed in my heart to use my creative talents to start making jewelry. Little by little, take baby steps and sell it and donate a percentage to GEMS. So after talking with Mary and a lot of her guidance, I decided to start selling my jewelry online and donate 40% of each sale to GEMS Uncovered. And it started very small, friends and family buying jewelry. Before I knew it, within 6 months, I was getting orders from all over the country and being able to donate a great amount to GEMS. So
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Good for you on that part too.
Thank you.
Yes, doing well.
Thank you.
And Mariah, how about you? How do you fit in with this?
Well, I know Mary and Jen. We all go to the same church, and I had went to the church prior to me becoming a victim of the trafficking life, and I believe that honesty is the best thing. And they prayed and prayed and prayed at the church. My mom knew Mary. My mom was in GEMS, and my
was
mom.
your mom in GEMS when you were trafficking?
And it was the movement of God that brought me to GEMS I broke down one day calling Mary. I ended up in front of this house, and it was a safe house that they had. And I just knew from that moment that my heart lies in this ministry, that it is proven fact that God meets you in your darkest places, that you don't grow from this clear, crystal water. You don't. You grow from dirt, and when you surround yourself from, when you take out the people that have victimized you, and the only way you can do that is to take control, and you have to get out.
But you didn't feel like you had control when you were in.
Oh no. You don't have none of your personal belongings. You don't have a phone. You don't know where you're at. You're told what to do. You listen and shut up.
By whom?
By your trafficker, by your pimp, by anyone who is taking control over you. You don't know who you have that day. Every day is a different step, but I know that through Gems Uncovered, there are so many girls that are being rescued, and so many girls that are coming to, Gems Uncovered Center, that look to Mary as a mother, because she takes us in and shows us the light in a triumphant way, has always only been led by leaders. And Mary and Jen took the initiative and led.
And was it difficult to leave?
Oh, you don't have a choice.
That's what I mean. How can you get away?
I got away. I was lucky. My mom was undergoing a surgery that was life-threatening. And I begged and begged and begged. I just want to see her this last time, please. And it took weeks and weeks. And everyone prayed. And I just remember getting to the LAX airport and running and using a phone and calling my brother and saying, I'm home, can you please come get me? And I got home that night, and of course you're scared, because they have your ID, they know your address, they have everything. You don't have anything anymore. I didn't come home with a bag, and you think these people were your friends at first, and you get with the wrong people, and that's all that starts it. Is someone that tells you you're gonna have a better life, just wait.
I can give you this, this, and this.
And you don't know. You don't know what the work is entitled to until you're already gone.
Do you mind me asking, how long were you a captive?
I was in some part of LA for about 3 weeks. I was in for about 6 days in that apartment. I was not allowed out. I had no food, no water. There was no electricity. I couldn't get out. And then I was flown. I don't know where I ended up, but I ended up at one point in Vegas. And I was in Vegas for about eight months. And then I got home, and your mind, your mentality, your anxiety, you don't know what to do.
Well, I congratulate you on your strength, because
I'm very happy where I'm at, and I thank Mary. She's my mentor. I go to her for everything. I call her when God talks to me, like, Mary. He talks to me like he
that's wonderful.
To think that he gave me a brain that I was once thinking that has he forgotten about me.
Yeah, no, I don't think ever. Well, congratulations to you. And Mary, the things that you're doing, should be absolutely, I mean, there should be more Marys.
Sure.
Yeah, because I understand that the number is quite large in this southern Los Angeles area. And we need to be more aware of it. And when you get down to 16 years old or younger, it becomes even a stronger problem.
Yes.
But I think getting away would be very difficult, and because you always have to be visible after you've been captive. So, well, to all three of you, I think it's wonderful, the things that you're doing, and I'd like to almost have you come back again so that we can know how you are doing. And how are you financed, just real quickly?
Through private funding and grants.
So do you apply for grants?
Yes. Yes.
And you've been successful in what you've been doing?
Mm-hmm.
That's very good. So, and for members of the board, thank you very much to be part of this. And how big is your board?
There's a total of 5.
You have 5 on your board. If they want to get in touch with you, how can they?
They can reach us at our website, www.gemsuncovered.org.
Okay, say it again.
www.gemsuncovered.org.
Okay. Well, I thank the 3 of you for being here very, very much, because I think you've probably opened some eyes that needed to be opened. I know I'm learning more things every day about, but to have you actively involved in something like this, I can see where you have found a real cause in life.
Yes.
That you have been led to, which
Yes.
is a wonderful thing. And thank you for the money that you're donating, as well as all the time you're giving and the heart. And Murat, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
That's very difficult to talk about too. And I'm proud of you for doing that.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Wasn't that wonderful? You've learned a lot. See you next time.